Right into racing here on the Rookie Rumble here. Jackson's going to take the first step here towards victory, followed by Jay Latham. But I'll tell you what, Jackson's been hungry for it, ladies and gentlemen. Just in, too. Bruce Bullington. I'm going to make up a little special thing for him and Jay for sure. But Bruce Bullington has opted to add prizes to the prize pool for the Little Rumble for these little kiddos. And he is actually putting in a controller, an EO17 for these kiddos. So whatever first place doesn't want, of course, they can have the option of a brand new 4-inch car or a controller or the go-kart that Jay Latham's put up. But whatever first don't want, we'll move it to second, and then from second to third. And I think that's pretty good for little prizes and stuff like that. And we surely do appreciate Bruce Bullington. So big shout out to Bruce for being a friend to these kids. Also for Jay Latham too. Big shout out for him. Jay, one of the calmest people I know in life. My wife was just mentioning we play Warzone together, and she's like, you know, every time I hear you play, like I just hear Jay in the background going, man, after he gets killed or whatever it may be. Plus we all kind of get together and play some games and stuff on the weekends. And he's like, every time I hear you, you're ready to throw your controller. And this is true. Like, I mean, I hate losing. Like, there's a reason you don't see me out here racing these cars. It's simple because I get way too passionate about it. But I think I'm a better teacher than I am a racer. So I love teaching these kids. I love being around them. And, of course, they're very receptive. I know that Weston here, he's going to be coming in next Sunday. He's going to get him a custom body made, he said. And he's excited about that. We see Glenn Burton there with some issues with his Charger that he just bought. As he goes to put his car back on red lane here, give her a little run for its money. I thought it would be kind of nice to get some of those specialty type bodies like that. Being they're all the same kind of height and width to pass those kind of techs. And it's pretty interesting to see different cars out there, as we know in the LMP Thunder series. After that first heat, though, we see Jackson out in the lead, tied with Bruce Bullington. Bruce is coming back to the oval game, folks. He's not messing around here, nor should he. And Jay Latham there in third place with 52. Carson with 50 laps. Weston with 49, Wyatt with 43, and Glenn Burton with 29. Must have had some issues there with the brand new Charger. Sometimes you get a new car, sometimes there's a few issues that take place. Speaking of issues, tonight has been an issue for several of our points leaders in pinball, as we've had a lot of change-ups here taking place tonight. Floppy holding it down there on Led Zeppelin. Big Daddy 3 holding it down on several games here this month. You know, I'm not seeing a whole lot of Grayson. Me and Grayson and T are going to be heading to Nashville tomorrow to play a little bit of pinball there at Game Terminal. But not seeing a whole lot of Grayson on here on the top of the leaderboards. Now, he hasn't been in here as much as the other guys have. But like I said, quite a big change here on the leaderboards here today, as we've had several people coming in playing some pinball. And we always love to see these guys compete in the pinball, and they love to see their names up there. But nonetheless, minute and 34 seconds. But these guys usually, they like to get done early. So we'll just come on back and we'll wait until we see everybody line up, and we'll skip on through. You know, I don't want to keep these kids past their bedtime. Even though it is summertime, these kids just love enjoying summertime. I think Dana there, my uncle's going to be taking them all home. They really do love having a good time here at Lanes Raceway, and it kind of hits a special part in my heart. Coach Jackson went with me today to church, and we had a good time there at church, and it's a blessing to be around those that you love, and just thankful for every day above ground. That's what we got to be here, thankful for every day above ground and being able to spend it with family and friends. And been a big blessing here at Lanes Raceway. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but just it brought me together with people I hadn't talked to in years, and it's just been a huge blessing. I would recommend it to anybody. All right, racers, are we ready? All right, watch your lights. Here we go, round rumble, 2 of 8. Now, of course, the Rookie Rumble is our adult Rumble class, or adult rookie class. Anybody can get into this. It's $10 to enter, $8 per race. We'll be shutting down entries, like I said, the last week of July. That's for all of our series, folks. So the last week of July, get your stuff paid for if you're already in a series. If not, get in it now while you still can, as a body comes flying off. 3 cars involved in an incident. Only 2 of them will survive here, we see. One of those cars up on the red lane there is Wyatt, but that was almost a full-blown J. And in similar fashion, that, if you guys recall from back in the day, from the full-blown J, that's pretty much how it took place, folks. Right there coming out of Dead Man's Corner, just a little bit of a love nudge into Sam Nelson from Jay Latham. And both him and Jay Latham come off and completely obliterated the rest of the pack. So that's a little history for you from Lanes Raceway. And that man Jay, he's racing here tonight. He's on white lane currently right now with the orange shirt there. Full-blown Jay. Ooh, how many cars is involved in that? Several more here. We're having a little bit of a debacle going on down here at the old oval track. Nerves might be a factor here as these kids are trying to push hard. They're trying to catch old Bruce. Jackson there, 65 laps. I think he might actually be in front of Bruce now. Yep, but just by a hair, as Bruce is down there on black lane, Jackson there holding it down on oranges. Jackson's going to be climbing to the top here. Jackson very excited right now currently. Wyatt Hambrick also there on red lane is, I just sorted in a pinion. I got tired of dealing with those old busted brass pinions getting tightened up too much, and we can see a big improvement already from Wyatt's car there, as he's quite a bit quicker now than he was before, just from the smoothness value. Plus those, they can take a lot more damage. We see 2 cars getting involved in an incident there. The yellow car on orange of Jackson and the green lane of Glenn Burden there. Just a couple big bodies bashing around. You love it. You love to see it. I know I love to see it anyway. My favorite kind of racing here is definitely tri-oval racing from a viewer's standpoint, simply because you can keep an eye on all the racers. As we see down low there, we see Bruce Bullington making a beautiful pass on Weston, as Weston kind of lets off a little bit and just lets it happen. But nonetheless, neither one of them involved in an incident. A little bit of a check up there on orange from Jackson as the car goes on through. And Jackson goes ahead and yard sells that car of Carson there on blue. Jackson pulling into second place, a couple laps down, as he should be, as he's running up on the upper portion. Down low, the blue lane making a beautiful pass to Carson, making that pass on Jackson down low. But Jackson running a nice clean race here on orange as he goes to make the pass on the inside of Glenn Burden there on the green lane. But right now, Bruce Bullington out in your lead right now, running an exceptional run there on black lane. 94 laps, 39 total this heat. Currently what I'm drinking here tonight, Brisk Iced Tea Lemon. For all of your needs out on the golf course, definitely try Brisk. No, that is not a slogan, so please don't hold me to that. But nonetheless, that's what I drink on the golf course. I love a Brisk lemon tea. It's a light flavor, almost simply like water, but with just a little bit of flavor, and it'll definitely get you through a golf game for sure, especially on the hotter days. Hadn't been since the beginning of the year. Me and my brother went, but I do love some golf, folks. I am not good at it, but nonetheless, I love being out in the environment, and it was a good time. Bruce Bullington's still currently your leader down there on black lane as he's running the pack, folks. Right there behind him, though, is Carson there in that blue car as he's trying to dive bomb down low on blue. Arguably, Greg Kimball would say that blue lane's faster on a trial than black lane. As we see Carson getting caught up there in a little bit of an incident between Jay Latham and Glenn Burden there. The old big body challenger there, Glenn Burden, that golden with silver stripes there. Paul Woosley helping us out there in the high banks as he gets Carson put back on the blue lane, and we're going back green racing for 5 more seconds, folks. You see we've done a little bit of a light change there to the blue and purple colors of the Rookie Rumble. And of course our kids, they definitely love the lights. They would probably prefer we race it at night. With the lights dim. Out in the lead, Bruce Bullington, 111 total laps run, 55.5 is his average, followed by Jackson with 53. running right there with him there on yellow, running 55 laps. We'll see how Jackson can hold it in there on purple and black to see if there's any competition between him and Bruce today. 104 laps there in third place by Carson Ross, and 102 laps with Jay Latham. Weston Durham there with 100 laps. All three of these guys fighting for top three. Just a wreck separates these guys for sure. 88 of Wyatt Hambrick up in the game here, folks, as he's back in the mix, and he's doing quite a bit better so far there on the upper lanes. Glenn Burden there with 73 with his new car as he tries to learn to run that a little bit differently. 35 or 36.5 is his average. Going to leave you guys here currently with the current Rookie Rumble standings here since July 6th, and we're going to have these updated tonight for you, and I'll see you here in about a minute and 45. Having a quick talk there with Paul Woosley about having maybe a grudge match after the Rookie Rumble. But right now, back to business. Bruce Bullington 4 laps ahead of Jackson there. Jackson's rolling to the high side there. Jackson's key form here, stay on and do not get in trouble as he makes the pass above there on the green lane of Wyatt Hambrick. Carson still in the mix here as he's 1 lap difference between him and Jackson. And down low, Weston Durham trying to make up some laps as the wreck ensued there. But Jackson there, 119 to Carson's 119. Carson might actually overtake Jackson here. Jackson's just going to have to run pretty aggressive there on white lane just to try to keep them at bay. But as we can see that purple car coming inbound right there, and boom, there's the change. As we get a track call there and a car rolling to the bottom portion of the track, that car being on blue lane, that's Glenn Burden. Looks like we had a swap here in cars here. Evidently having a blowed up car or something. Nonetheless, stock gear ratio is stock gear ratio. Don't know if we got rules on that or not, but nonetheless, I know for a fact I've seen that car before. He might have just changed the body is what I'm guessing, simply because that was a pretty good car. We can see he's not running off and leaving the guys there down on purple. Carson running the show, but he's getting involved in a wreck there as we see Glenn also getting involved. And we get a track call button there just a few seconds late. This gave Jackson almost that full lap back on Carson, so that's definitely something Jackson wanted to see. But there on yellow lane, we still have our leader, Bruce Bullington. We'll see how those things change as he moves up the field. Also there on the outside of him, Glenn Burden. Bruce Bullington leading the way as he's running very aggressively as he goes to try to make that pass on the black car of Weston Durham. And they're neck and neck with each other. Weston not giving an inch. Weston kind of slowing down just a hair before we see Bruce doing it, and just couldn't hold it up there as we see a full Category 5 hurricane blow through on Dead Man's Corner, wiping out half the pack. Carson now currently in second place, giving Jackson a run for his money. Maybe all those nerves that Jackson are having might be adding up to something here as Carson's coming out of left field. The seriousness on Carson's face there in the blue shirt says it all, folks. He's coming here to play, and he's not coming here to mess around. Carson down there on purple lane. He's ready to run, boys. He's ready to knock Jackson back a few pegs. Jackson been doing a lot of braggadociing in front of his friends here today, and sometimes trash talk don't work out the best way. But nonetheless, both these guys fierce competitors, and I'm excited to see how this may pull out here in the end. Just to see, there is nothing really to compare between Carson and Jackson at the moment. We can see that Carson's down one lap and down one lap on green, down one lap on blue in comparison to the 55 of yellow and the 51 of orange. Now, in comparison, though, we can see Jackson running 55 on yellow to Bruce's 49. This is something that definitely Jackson wants to see as he progresses further down the lanes here, running pretty close there with Bruce Bullington. He's going to want to always beat every lane there on Bruce to be able to capitalize and gain some advantage there. But right now, we see Carson there down a little bit there on purple, but running an exceptional blue lane, in my opinion, just by what I'm seeing here lap-wise. So 160, 155, 154, your top three. Jay Latham tied with at 145. 1 minute and 42 seconds left to go. I'm going to leave you guys here with some pinball scores and be right back with you. All right, folks, halfway through this race, and what a race it's been. Very, very tight racing here. Like I said, Jay Latham tied up right now, I believe, with Weston. It's either Weston or Glenn. But 4 lights are going to drop out. We're going to go back racing here. And like I said, it's still a brutal grudge match also between Carson and Jackson. The Weston and Jay there on orange and green. As we see all of everybody except for one person, that's almost a full-blown J. One car shy, full-blown J. I get a little excited laughing over there. So Alicia comes in on chat and says my favorite racing is oval too. I do enjoy some racing on the oval. I like to be able to keep track of the cars and see them side by side and run in deep and everything else. And, you know, that's the most exciting thing about racing is being able to keep your eyes on multiple racers at once. And it's a whole lot easier to do that on an oval than it is on a track that you lose sight under a bridge or you know, multiple rhythm sections, I guess you would say. But Jay Latham and Weston still just 1 lap difference between each other there on green and yellow. Like Carson's car coming off there with that Glenn Burton's car? Jay Latham and Weston right there neck and neck with each other there on the backstretch currently. Jay Latham taking a 1-lap advantage on Weston so far. Due most likely to wrecking. Up on the high side there, we got Jackson just fending off for his life, though, as he's brutally up there high versus the rest of the guys. You know, and it kind of hurts your feelings when you're running an oval and you see people really passing you hard. But after you run several ovals, you'll start to notice that if you can just fend them off and they don't get you like, you know, half a lap every lap, then you're actually running a pretty good red lane. And we can see that Jackson's car is running quite well, and he's actually running a good red lane here. Bruce Bullington now kicked down to second place as Carson takes over first there on Black Lane, getting involved in a little bit of incident here in the High Banks corner, involving two. It looks to be Weston and Carson involved in this incident. My wife quickly getting Carson put back on Black Lane. Right there behind him, though, Glenn Burton in that monster truck. Monster Energy with Octane from Apex Legends there on that truck. And that's a 999, folks. That is not a 666. That is a 999. That is Glenn's number of choice, 999. We do make custom bodies, and if you are interested in the custom bodies, that's very similar how we can make them if we do printed out designs. Now, as for doing custom designs and stuff like that, it does cost a little bit more than a standard printed one. Man, that car was ripping there on green. I don't know if anybody else seen that, but man, wow. You see Jay's coast. That was incredible. I don't think I've ever seen a car move that fast. Checking chat there real quick. See if anybody else caught that. Man, that thing about made a lap on coast. Lucky he didn't break out. On the inside of him, Bruce Bullington. We'll see if he gives him a little bit of a love share there. And he does, and Bruce makes it out alive. We see Bruce there looking at Jay as, just to see if it was okay if that love nudge took place. Quite hilarious from my point of view. But nonetheless, Jay Latham, he took it to the outside. Like I said, cool as a cucumber, Jay. He takes the wrecks, and he takes it in kind, right? Very, very, very calm demeanor. Bruce Bullington in second place, 203, followed by Jackson with 197. Jay Latham closing the gap, though. Jackson going to have to keep that car online and keep it out of the trash for sure. Wow, speaking of the trash, that's any wrecked cars that go from the inside all the way to the outside lane in Dead Man's Corner. Weston there with 190. Wyatt with 179. Right there with Glenn Burton with 170. And that's it for the middle portion of this race. We are going to be moving into round robin heat 5. We see Carson out in the lead there with 210, having a race of his life here, folks. Bruce Bullington 209, Jackson Darty there with 202 to rank up your top 3. Jay Latham still battling it out with Weston, 4 laps different from one another. Previous race they started out on the same lap, but several wrecks involving Wyatt and Glenn ended up causing them to kind of drop off a little bit there. Those lower 3 having quite a few incidents. Bruce Bullington turning 56 laps there on black. Carson turning 55, though. That's why he's in the lead right now, as some of his middle lanes there he was very, very impressive with. Like I said, Jackson there, 55 laps there on yellow, 51 laps on orange. We compare these to Bruce Bullington. He's running just a little bit better, about 5 or so laps, 6 or so laps better than Bruce Bullington. So we're going to start seeing Jackson increase as long as he can keep his car on yellow and black. It's probably safe to presume that he is going to move up from that 3rd position. 1 minute and 42 seconds left to go before we go back green racing. Let's see if I can get the series standings on here just to see about where these guys stand. We see Jackson there in first right now. Been pretty much unstoppable since the Rumble Series has started. But right there behind him is Jay Latham, and it looks like he's coming to cause a ruckus today also with Carson. So Carson's wanting to knock Jackson down at least a peg or so. Weston there, he's battling it out with Jay. So your top 4 there is a big, serious battle taking place. But Bruce Bullington, don't count him out. It's only his 2nd race. He's going to attack 1 for 3 this time, and he's going to start climbing up also. We're missing Clay Dame and Dalton today, but Glenn Burton back in the mix. Only got one race. Don't count him out for sure, as he's been known to run the GRC for several years. And also Wyatt Hambrick there was 1 of 5 races. A rookie newcomer, but doing quite well for just starting out. 45 seconds left to go. We're just going to take us back over to the main menu and see if our racers are getting about ready. Dana and Glenn up there having themselves a little bit of a conversation. All right, racers, are you ready? Watch your lights. Here we go, 16 seconds left to go. Trying to keep our stuff under time here, as we were supposed to start at 7. And here it is, 8:17. So about an hour and a half is about what we want to run races at. It's going to be very, very close here. Now, of course, granted, we just started this about, 15 minutes ago, something like that, 20 minutes maybe. So we're definitely doing well for the run of this race. But as for closing time and stuff like that, definitely want to try to keep these as low as we can, because our LMP Thunder Series is big, and it takes quite some time. And if a lot of people reckon in the LMP Thunder Series, it does push this race back a little bit. Plus, our racers are predominantly young here in the Rookie Rumble Series, so they're biting at the bit to get them cars out there and run them and race them. They're as bad as me and my brother Daniel Taylor and Jay Latham used to be back when we was running in Slot City. And it's funny, here Jay Latham is today, a grown adult, and he's in the mix with my brother too, Gabriel. I see Daniel every once in a while. He was at one of our first races we had here. Of course, he's a very busy man. He's got a lot of work he's got to do. And then whenever he does have some free time, he spends it with his kids. Now, when their kids get a little bit older, they'll probably come down here and experience a little bit more of this competitive racing, about when they get about Jackson's age and stuff. Of course, when kids are really, really young, it's hard to keep their attention on anything. But when they get about Jackson and Carson and Weston and Wyatt's age, they start kind of calming down. They want to focus in on sports and do things with their buddies. And, I think we'll all get to see each other yet again. I think we're all kind of stitched into that fabric of reality of being buddies for life, for sure, no matter what comes. We can see Dana Durham there getting his car put back on there on blue, Jay Latham. We got us a good race rolling here. Now we see Carson out in the lead by 3 laps. Bruce Bullington kind of dropping off a few of those laps, as we can see Jackson there being able to turn one more extra lap. Also Jay Latham down low. But Bruce Bullington kind of dropping off as he's going higher up on the hog there. And we see Bruce and Jackson having themselves a little bit of a laughing time. Jackson loves to get in the heads of fellow racers. I speak a lot about Jackson here, if you ain't noticed, but I spend a lot of time with Jackson here. We had trained together, helping him get to know the tracks and stuff, and we trained for several days together, and I'm talking full-blown days on the orange track. So all that time pays off, folks, if you're willing to be serious about something, and we can see that Jackson's definitely a front runner in these 2 series. Same thing goes for Carson. He's been in here, and Weston also. Wyatt, I'm seeing him more and more with the races. I think he comes in when Weston comes in, but all of these guys have been right there pretty close to my heart. I mean, for one, they're my cousin. But for another, they do take some passion in this racing, for sure. I would say that Jackson takes it the most serious. He's got him a little bit of a toolbox going. He's got some tools. He's very receptive, wanting to know how to fix his own cars. He fixed his own guide flag earlier today. So there's a bunch of advancements we can see that we want to encourage. And then plus he's willing to help Carson and West and stuff on their stuff too. Kind of takes some of the heat off of me. But now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind helping these kids out, but I want them to learn. I don't want to do it for them and then them just expect me to do it for them all the time. So a little bit earlier today, I kind of stayed a little bit more firm with the kiddos. And it's like, I need you to oil my car. I said, you should know how to oil your car by now. I've showed you several times. So now they're starting to do their own stuff. And it's through that independence there that they can come up with their own crafting idea behind their cars and maybe develop their own little racing team and how that they dictate whether or not their cars are good or not, Like I said, everybody has their own little special way of setting their cars up within the rules. as we can see here just down at the bottom of your screen there, that's Bruce Bullington's. He loves to tape the inside and the outside of the front of his car there to keep from, when wrecks happen in the front end, to keep that from collapsing because of the Lexan. You know, it's little touches like that that makes each individual build of the cars unique, just like in the real world whenever it comes to like full-blown cars. You know, some people like blue cars, some people like white cars, some people like black cars, you know, and some people like big rims, some people like small rims. But nonetheless, you know, everybody's build's unique, and I think that shows the character of the person, and they can bring their own little something to the racetrack. And then we see unique races happen when that happens. We also see unique attitudes, and it makes it where everybody can bring their own knowledge of stuff that's been successful and stuff that hasn't, so that they can maybe warn other racers, like, hey, don't do that, or, you know, that's a pretty good idea. I've done that on mine, and it works very, very well. So we've seen a wreck there from Bruce Bullington there on White Lane. Carson running off and leaving the show here today, folks. 263 total laps at the end of that heat, 5 of 8. I want to kind of zoom in on that a little bit. Right now, Carson running 52.6 average laps there. Now, the rest of his heats, he's got nothing but high laners left to go, as we see Jackson's got nothing but low laners. And we got Bruce somewhere in the middle there. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. I don't want to call it either way right now, just simply because of how close it's gotten. But don't count Jay out either, as he's got 49.2 as his average right there in the mix, and he's got all low lanes left. And he's been running 50 lap races here, or 50 lap runs, respectfully for sure. But right now what I'm seeing, just from sheer performance so far, we're seeing Jackson, every time we compare him with somebody above him, we're seeing his laps outmatch everybody. So right now, as long as Jackson stays calm, collected, I think we're going to start seeing him start to climb. I mean, I know we haven't yet, but just from the simple math, the simple math of things, that's what it's looking like. A minute and 36 seconds left to go before we go back green. Just going to leave it on Thunder here. I'm going to take a small break, and I'll be right back with you. Oh my. All right, racers, are you ready? Yeah, buddy. Watch him lights. I was just sitting there taking my break, looking through the little window there. You probably could have seen me, but man, there was some trash talking getting thrown around, cracking me up. So a little bit of trash talk between Jackson and Glenn Burden there. There might be a little bit of a war taking place out here. I don't know how close Glenn is. He's on yellow lane to, he does have a chance here. So Glenn could put the old bullhorns there to Jackson if he would like. We'll see how that turn of events takes place. We see Jackson there on the high side. As he's going to make the pass, he checked up and he got nervous. He got real nervous in front of Glenn as he kind of backed her off, and then he over-accelerated. So Glenn Burden getting into Jackson's head just a smidge there. I find it hilarious. These kids are going to learn, you know. I mean, they'll learn either the rough way or the easy way, so let them learn. So Gaddison says the phase full-blown J is the greatest thing ever. It is truly. And yeah, full-blown J. I mean, it fits J perfectly. I got I wish I could put it on here real quick, but I've done a livery for J on his super late model that's coming up this next season. I don't really want to spoil it, but I will say this: it does have full J on it. The rookie rumble is great. You can see the kids are enjoying every minute, and even the adults. They do. They love it. They love being around these kids, and I'll tell you what, all them kids, they are very, very. They love the trash talk. I mean, they love it. You can hear them hooting and hollering out there right now. And it kind of keeps a light feeling to the whole thing, I think, and I think it just makes it so much better whenever Jackson, he cracks me up, boy. He cracks me up. We see Jackson now taking over second place there, turning 40 laps, respectively. As he's trying to chase down Carson. We can see Carson stoic there as he is doing the best to keep his mental acuity in check. Right now, Carson, the best thing that he can do is keep those 6 laps the best that he possibly can. He's definitely going to have to not come off yet again. If he comes off one more time, it's going to pretty much solidify. He's going to drop down from Jackson unless Jackson has a lot of issues in the next couple of lanes. And this is why, because he's going to be at such a smaller lane difference that he's going to be all the way up on white lane. So we're going to see Carson come up here in white lane. Just a little bit of comparisons here. We can see Carson turning 50 and Jackson 52, 50 to 51. 54, though, gaining back that 1 to 53, 53 to 55, losing 2. So we can see Carson's really going to have to run very, very impressive white and red lanes here. So like we see Jay here turning a 50. He's going to need to be turning some 50s here. For sure on red and white. It's going to be tough because they're very, very slow lanes. Jackson 307, we can see his average increasing here. Bruce Bullington 50.7 as he's going to have one mid-ranger here battling it out here against the Goliath so far of Jackson Darty. The 51 there, that 49 is very, very detrimental here for Bruce. The 48 to 47, that's another loss there. But we can see so far nothing here that would say that Bruce has got an advantage so far on any lane. I would love to say that it's anybody's ball game, but these next couple heat are very much paramount when it comes to who's going to finish on top and who is going to take second place. As we can see some of the kiddos there, Carson and Weston there, having a little bit of a talk there. We also see Wyatt down there with Jackson hanging out. And then 15 seconds left to go. Jay Latham and Bruce Bullington oiling up their cars. These kids should probably be taking heed to that and paying attention to what these adults are doing because the difference between winning and losing is doing exactly what they're doing. I will put it this way. These bushings can take a lot because they are quite thick bushings. But on normal cars that are meant to race pretty quick, not these rookie cars like this, you better oil them bushings because you will wallow them out, egg shape them, and then you lose the gear in the back. It's just all around bad. Got to definitely keep track of your car and keep them nice and cool in the bushing area for them to run smooth and quiet. And as we can tell, Jay and Bruce have really some of the quietest cars out there, and it's for that reason. They've got a good patina on those bushings inside those bushing holes where that oil's heated up nice and kind of made like a almost caramel color coating that kept them from getting too hot. Because if they get too hot, they almost turn blue. Kind of strange. But and then they get brittle after they get hit and cool down. So definitely keep them nice and cool. The best stuff to use is the stinkiest stuff to use. I believe that Slick 7 Glidex, man, that is the best stuff. But boy, does it smell like Parmesan cheese on a hot summer day. It's horrible. Down low, we see Jay Latham battling it out against Jackson. As Jackson goes to make a move, and he makes a successful move. And Jay kind of backs her down just a smidge there. But what a move that was. Very, very risky to do a move such of that nature. So I get 3 wide here. Is he going to make that move again? And he does. Both of them letting off. Almost causing an incident between him and Wyatt. But Wyatt was able to hold it up there too. Just shows you how much of a constitution we've seen here from Wyatt since he's been starting racing. Being able to hold that car that close to him without being intimidated and pulling it off is showing you the advancement of Wyatt here just in the couple races he's ran. So very impressive, because usually someone of just beginning caliber like Wyatt, that close to somebody ends up racking nerves quite more often than not. But we can see he's running a perfect yellow here, about as good as you can up against a purple and a black lane. So we can see Jackson there currently turning 22, gaining a couple laps there on Carson. Got him now within 3 laps. Carson there up on the white lane. Not what he wanted to see there. A bunch of trash in his lane. We see there in the red lane, Weston also getting involved in an incident as we get a track call there because Bruce Bullington and the car down on black, Jay Latham, coming out. Not what Weston wanted to see, but these are the things that you got to focus on, folks, when you're racing here at Lanes Raceway. It does get fast, it does get furious, but the thing is, you got to keep your eye on your lane. Everything else doesn't matter. So at the end of it, when we see or hear a car wreck there in Dead Man's Corner, if you're on the upper lanes, it's good to just kind of let off a little bit, take a glance there, because 1/100 of a second is nothing compared to 2 seconds or 3 seconds on this track. So just let off, take a look, because a lot of times you get caught up in that trash. And right now we can see Weston, he is getting caught up in that trash. And it cost him there because our track marshal there, T, my wife, wasn't able to see his car in a timely fashion. So he lost more than just a couple seconds there. And it cost him. Now, as we can see Wyatt there moving up the chain of events here. Wyatt, when we started here, racing, holding down more of the bottom level there, but now we can see him coming into his own here. He's moving up the branches here as he's got Jay within about 16 laps here, but he's passed Weston, and Weston has 3:13, and he's also passed Glenn too. Glenn, of course, having some issues there with his cars. We get a full-blown smack there on red lane involving, I don't know who that is currently. Looks like Carson's car. Carson running for second place. We see Jackson now taking over first place from Carson. Carson wasn't able to hold him off there on white lane, but did a valiant job there with the best lap of 2.340. 28 seconds left to go. Bruce Bullington there in third place with 341, turning 37 total laps, followed by Jay with 328. Wyatt Hambrick there, he's trying to reel it in as he's got him within 7 laps now between him and Jay Latham. Jay Latham having some issues there down low on black lane, only turning 35 laps so far, respectfully. Weston about to have a full speed come apart, it looks like, there on red, as he's had some bad events take place here on red lane. Just want to try to keep that eyes ahead if I was Weston, and try to evoke a little bit of fear when it comes to how these guys are handling. I'm hearing a little bit of squeal coming off of someone's car there, so these wrecks are definitely impacting the way these rear ends on these cars are aligned. So right now there is a wreck up there, and you could hear it. Once you hear it, you need to kind of, keep your eyes up there. But it looks like Carson was trying to maybe give a little bit of a love nudge there to Weston. But nonetheless, Weston made it through there on the high banks. It seems like maybe Weston might have his wits about him a little bit there. Needs to watch his hands there as we go by green racing. And we get a red flag rotation. This heat 7 of 8. So very, very, very tight racing here, as we can see. Anywhere from 45.9 all the way to 52.1. We can now see Jackson moving on up in the ladder. Currently turning the best purple lane we've seen tonight, almost getting into the 60s. It's going to be a very, very good race for Jackson. He's been able to dodge quite a few of the wrecks and only wrecked just a couple times in this race. So Jackson is definitely the man to be beaten here in this rookie rumble so far. Now whether or not the guys will go home, buff out their bushings, or how much time they put into their car to keep it level, straight, true, and flush, it's all up to the individual racer. How much time do they want to put into something to make it perfect? Put a little bit more pride, a little more respect into the car, because once they do that, they're less likely to be so abusive to it. So I encourage all of our little rumblers and even just our adult rookie rumblers to take their cars home, polish it up, put some respect back into that car, and see if that helps you out a little bit. Because I've always found that you put a little respect in, you get a whole lot of respect back from your car, especially when it's flat and true.
I'm on the outside.
So a minute and 32 seconds, and we'll be rolling into our final heat here on the Rookie Rumble here at Lanes Raceway. You see Jay Latham there, and we can see the instinctive look there coming off of Jackson. He's wanting to soak up as much knowledge as he possibly can from Jay. I know he was excited, biting at the bit this morning at church, and all he wanted to talk about was block car racing. And it's exciting, right? When you got something that you're very passionate about, and it's good to see people like Jackson still put some pride in something that's outside of themselves there. So, Jackson, he definitely has a very outgoing personality, and I think it spreads amongst all his friends here and his family. So it's good to have people like Jackson at a race place, because he's never to the point of aggression where you think that he's doing bad. He's always a very happy fella. And I just tell you what, I love being around Jackson. He's just a good, funny man. He's sitting there next to Jay Latham right now as they get ready to go racing. 17 seconds for wide open, full throttle for the next 2 minutes here. We see Bruce Bullington getting his car put on there and his sticker car ready to roll. Glenn Burton untangling his controller. 4 seconds left to go. Get ready, racers. We're about to drop lights. My wife running out there to help track marshal next to Dana Durham. We see Bruce Bullington right out of the gate making a beautiful pass on Wyatt Hambrick, and one car shy of a full-blown J. The car that made it was Jackson there on Black Lane. Everybody was probably wishing that Jackson was probably in that, as he's the current leader right now, running a median of a 2.02. When we first started, I told him, I said, if you can get that car under 2 seconds, you're doing good. And right now, his best lap is 2 even, square even. Every one of these guys running the same gear ratio, 929 as Jackson comes off, causing a big incident down at Dead Man's Corner. We get quick on the button here. Hopefully everybody's in their lanes. Bruce Bullington now third place next to Carson, 7 laps down. Followed by Jay Latham there with 349. More of the heated race there with Wyatt Hambrick than he is with Bruce Bullington. Weston there kind of having some rough troubles here tonight as he's falling down the pack there, having some issues with his car coming off. With a total lap of 339. Glenn Burton there also having some trouble tonight with 336 is his time. Everybody running quite well together as we get a big cluster up. You guys know what happens when they cluster. Kind of spreading out a little bit though. We might get lucky here and get some rhythm rolling, and we can kind of hear the rhythm taking place there. One car coming out on White Lane, easily put back in. That's Glenn Burton's car. Everybody being silent, everybody running their own lane. This is what I'm talking about, focusing only on their car. .42 seconds left to go. Get a 2-car pile up here, one off of red Carson Ross and one off of white Glenn Burton. 23 seconds left to go. And that's a fresh motor under Jackson Darty's car there. This only has one race other than today on it, and I think the brushes are just now starting to break in on that car. So it's quite quick here. As we can see, he's now approached the 1.9 area of the best lap there. So he's running exceptional. He's ready to step up, folks. He's like, well, can I get in the next rookie race? I said, if you win a rookie race, you're not allowed to enter a rookie race. You got to step up. Because if that was the case and we just kept letting people run rookie races, well, they never want to leave rookie races because you could just beat the tar out of rookies. So after this rookie rumble's over with, it's probably going to be looking at Jackson moving up. from the Little Rumble and the Rookie. Well, that's it, folks. We can see that total lap here, 424 of Jackson. What a race he had tonight, beating every single person all race long, other than Carson on a couple and a few others. But 424 total laps to 409 of Carson. Carson had an exceptional race tonight, beating out Bruce Bullington by 3 laps. Very, very tight race between those two. Jay Latham 392, but Wyatt Hambrick out of nowhere, man, coming up and getting within 10 laps to Jay Latham. Very, very much respect for Wyatt. Weston having just a little bit of trouble with his car tonight. Also, Glenn Burton having some trouble with his car. We'll see if they can come back next week and get some of that stuff straightened out. But thank you guys for tuning in and watching. This is Don and Curly here at Lanes Raceway. Thanks for tuning in to Rookie Rumble here tonight. God bless you.